Yes, it
Thanksgiving.
is. Yes, it is. And so we want to celebrate and rejoice and be happy. And that also means that guess what? The fall is here and Christmas is around the corner. But we're just going to stick with Thanksgiving right now. Okay. All right, Mike, take it away.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for joining us in the spirit of perfect harmony. We are the Center for Spiritual Living West Georgia. We study, practice the philosophy and science of the mind we know as God. And with our spiritual presence and our participation in our service here this morning, we create a higher state of consciousness, rise above all the negative energy that we may have experienced this past week, and manifest love. We know love is synonymous to God. Our master teacher, Reverend Dr. Sandra Jackson, will now proceed with our service.
Oh, thank you so much, Mike. And good morning again, everybody. And Barb is back home in Colorado. She's
All
been
right.
visiting with Marty the last few weeks while Marty got healed from her surgery. So I guess that means Marty's doing well and Barb had a safe trip back home. So, all right. Let us just join together in consciousness now from wherever we are. Let us just sit back in our seats, relax, breathe in this moment. And allow ourselves to just simply be present now. And in this moment, we feel and know that this is a holy moment, a sacred moment, where it is a God-given moment. It's a moment of life, full and complete, withholding nothing but giving all. And we simply breathe it in. Breathe it in. And so we know that there is but one life. And while that life may have many expressions, it is still one life. And that life is whole, it is complete, it is perfect. It is constantly and ever evolving and creating itself in a multitude of forms. And so we sit here today, we come together today as expressions of that one life. So we know that wherever we are, whoever we are that life expressing in a visible form. And so it is from this place that we are grateful this morning. We are filled with the gratitude that life itself has seen fit to express itself in, through, and as who and what we are. We are already blessed. We are blessed because we are living, breathing expressions of the divine. And so we rejoice this day. We celebrate it in all aspects of our being. And we know that all things, therefore, must come together in perfect divine order and harmony because life itself has already decreed it to be so. And so we know this is the truth. As we look out on nature, we see it unfolding perfectly as the fall comes from the summer and moves into the winter. Nature itself is telling us that life is alive. And if we are part of nature, then we too are part of that life. All things are working together for good in perfect harmony, for that is how life is. And so we just simply breathe it in, soak it in, recognizing, realizing, and knowing that this is the truth of this moment. And the totality of everything is present right here and right now. And so with gracious gratitude, I release this word knowing that it is already done, that it is being fulfilled in each and every one of us right here and right now. And so it is. Amen. So
Good morning. Let's all come together and focus in on our vision and mission statement. 1 second. That was crazy. Oh, goodness. Don't do it that way. All right. Now let's do it again. Because you saw the quick preview of all that's going to happen today in one blur. Let's try it again. Morning. Let's go through our vision and mission statement. CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. And our declaration of principles are as follows. I believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. There is one life, of which I am a part, one intelligence, which I use, and one substance, which takes form as my life. And so it is.
Good morning. We are getting so close to coming into our new home. If you hear a little whining, it's my dog, Mr. Truman. So it's not me. So. Okay, hold on 1 second. Oh, it's a morning, isn't it? I lost my speaker. Let's see if I can gain it back. Okay. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. If not, it's going to be very soft. Here we go. Okay, it is reconnected. Here we go. Although, all right. We'll do what we do. Each day I live, I know to be a day I give the best of me. We are one, yet not alone. Our finest day is yet unknown. I know my heart with every gain to taste the sweet. Oh, I face the pain. I rise and fall, yet through it all, this much remains. We have one moment in time when we're more than we think we can be, when all of our dreams are a heartbeat away, and the answers are all up to me. We see one moment in time when we're living in destiny. Then in this one moment of time, we feel eternity. I live to be my very best, yet I want it all, no time for less. I lay my plans, now lays the chance, here in my hands. We have one moment in time when we're more than we think we can be, when all of our dreams are a heartbeat away, and the truth is all that we see. We have one moment in time when we're living with destiny. Then in this one moment of time, I feel eternity. Oh, we're the winners in our lifetime as we seize this one moment in time. Let it shine, and one moment in time, when we're more than we think we can be, as all of our dreams are right here today, and the answers are all we can see. Live in one moment in time, when we're living in destiny. In this one moment of time, we feel free. Oh, at home, we are free.
Did you catch the change of words? Yeah. All right, Zizi. Wonderful. Thank you so very much. Great song. I love that song. Lily is our reader this morning. Welcome, Lily.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Zizi. That was a beautiful song. Love it. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today's reading is from Attitudes of Gratitude by M.J. Ryan. This is a quote by J. Stone. Gratitude opens our hearts. The most invisible creators I know of are those artists whose medium is life itself, the ones who express the inexpressible without brush, hammer, clay, or guitar. They neither paint nor sculpt. Their medium is their being. Whatever their presence touches has increased life. They see and don't have to draw. They are the artists of being alive. I spent several Christmases recently with a family that loves to give presents. Every year, the floor around the tree was heaped with hundreds of gifts, so many that it took the entire morning to open them all. But despite all that was given and received, I would leave there every year feeling empty and alone. There had been a plethora of presents, but no presents. The family gave so many gifts because they didn't know how to connect deeply to themselves and one another. They ripped through the mounds of merchandise, saying a pro forma, thank you, but no sense of true appreciation was expressed or received. The experience was so powerful, the contrast between the material and plenty and the emotional lack, it sent me to thinking. That's when I realized that you can't experience gratitude with a closed heart. It's just not possible. Gratefulness is only experienced in the moments in which we open our hearts to life, to the beauty in this moment, to the possibility of surprise in the next. A person does something kind for you, even a very small thing, say holding a door open for you. When you say thank you and you really mean it, rather than saying it out of social convention, your heart instinctively opens to the person. In that moment, you experience your connection to one another, even if you never lay eyes on each other again. Open-heartedness takes courage. It requires enough trust in the goodness of other people and the universe at large that we can put aside our self-protectiveness. that stance that says, I am not going to be grateful for what I am receiving right now because it's too scary to risk getting hurt, and take a leap of faith to acknowledge that we have received a gift. The fact that true gratitude creates a sense of open-heartedness is the reason so much of the thanks in this culture is rote and unfeeling. People are afraid to feel thankful because they are afraid of the out of control experience that occurs when they acknowledge the bond between the giver and the receiver. We are afraid to feel the love that gets created anytime we express true things. As adults, our hearts have been broken many times, and by golly, we want to make sure it doesn't happen again. The choice is ours in every moment. Do we want to live in seemingly safety, shut inside the shell of our individuality, unwilling to experience the deep and abiding connections that are ours in any case? Or are we willing to risk over and over having our hearts broken, open to the beauty and the pain of all that is ours to experience? When do you experience an open heart? What are the conditions that foster your willingness to open your heart? As we practice true gratitude, we learn to take the risk over and over again. And so it is.
Thank you, Lily. Yeah,
You're quite welcome.
gratitude is about connection. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes we say, grateful, we're grateful. We make a gratitude list, right? Don't we? We wake up in the morning, we have these practices of gratitude and whatever. And then we go throughout the day without connecting with other people. So that's what she was talking about in terms of, those are like empty presents at Christmas time. So, and we've all had that experience at one time or another, haven't we? So I want to ask you a question this morning. We're talking about, this month is about breathing in the view, and today is about celebrating the triumphant journey. I don't know about this celebration yet so much, but maybe so. When we think about celebration, it's like celebration, balloons and whatever. But the thing is that sometimes celebration's a lot quieter. It's just an acknowledgement of a completion, of something, that the one moment in time that we've had that is so full and complete, that we just gonna go say, yes, that's celebration too. Okay. Well, I want to ask you a question though. When the alarm goes off in the morning and you wake up, or however it is that you wake up in the morning, with the alarm, do you hit the snooze button or do you bounce out of bed? Stop and think about it. Do you wake up slowly and carefully, thinking about what you have to do in a day or what you're grateful for? Or do you wake up being happy to be alive? Oh, I woke up today. I'm surprised. I think some people do wake up going like, I'm still here. Okay. How do you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up wanting to sleep some more, being tired? Or do you wake up with this list in your head of to-dos and the expectations for the day? And how similar is yesterday's waking up from today's waking up? And it's going to be tomorrow's waking up as well. How habitual is your waking up in the morning, things that you do in the morning? Our theme for this year was timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. Charles Darwin popularized the whole idea of evolution when he published The Origin of the Species in 1859. It was not met with a lot of woo, how nice, celebratory stuff. Okay. It was like, yeah, what? And they called him all kinds of names and they just tore him apart, right? And his idea of evolution was from his observing animal life and plant life and whatever. And he concluded that evolution occurred as a result of our hereditary, genes and whatever, that who we are today was based on who we were, who generations were, back there. Okay. But at the same time, that he was in England because he was a British scientist. Back in New England, in the United States, you had Henry David Thoreau and Emerson and Louisa May Alcott's father and all kinds of people who were the transcendentalists. They were the American philosophers, okay? And they were in the process of developing a new kind of philosophy of thinking about people. And for Henry Thoreau, his core belief, his belief was that people were inherently good, that nature was good, and that it was corrupted by society. In other words, you and I were born good, but then we are born into families and societies and cultures that corrupt our goodness. Well, good. We don't have to, it's not us. We're not to blame. Okay. Anyway, so he wrote a book called a philosophy. His philosophy was called excuse me, Civil Disobedience. And his civil disobedience philosophy, Leo Tolstoy also used as he was influenced by that. And guess who else? Gandhi and Dr. King. They were also influenced by Thoreau's idea of civil disobedience. So you had, on the one hand, you've got Darwin, and these they're in the same time period, right? They're living around the same time. So here you have Darwin going it's all hereditary, which means it's all comes from the physical. Okay. And then you got Thoreau and the transcendentalists going no. There's something more here. It's not just the physical. There's a goodness that is inherent in who we are. And then around the same time, also in New England, you had Phineas Parkhurst Quimby, who is considered to be the father of New Thought. Excuse me, let me get some water here. Okay, so he cured himself of TB. And he said, how did I do this? He became curious. And so he started to study, and he studied mesmerism, which was the beginning of hypnosis and an understanding of the subconscious mind. Mary Baker Eddy studied Quimby, and she in turn taught Emma Curtis Hopkins. And Emma Curtis Hopkins is considered to be the teacher of teachers. One of the students of whom was Ernest Holmes, another were the Fillmores. And then she had a bunch of other new people who became New Thought teachers. And there's the religious science, Christian science, divine science, and Home of Truth, and a lot of different other ones. Unity came out of all of this area of Quimby and the Transcendentalists. Because if you look at Ernest Holmes, he also relies a lot on Emerson, who was one of the Transcendentalists. Okay, so we have all of this stuff, and what was it focused on? It was all focused on the individual. It was all focused on how you wake up in the morning, how you think about yourself when you wake up in the morning, how you think about your day, how you think about what's going on. And then and they said things like, change your thinking, change your life, right? It's like, it was all about me, developing me as an individual. Who am I? And we in the United States went through that whole period. I think it was in the 80s when people go saying about the me generation. Okay, it was and people wore bumper strips that said, "He who dies with the most toys wins." Remember that? Sandy's going, yeah. Okay. It's all about me. It's about developing me. And I know when I first got involved in Science of Mind in the 70s, it was, it was the same thing. It was like, change your thinking, change your life, be more self-aware so you can change your life, so you can have the prosperity that you desire for yourself. Yeah, gratitude and forgiveness are a part of it, but what were they focused on? You're grateful so that you could develop yourself and your own prosperity, right? Somewhere along the line, they decided, service was a good thing, okay? And so, you prayed, and, and you said, they said, pray for everybody, but it was really cursory. It was really like, pray for yourself. Okay. If you're a practitioner, okay, now as a practitioner, now you pray for everybody. See, but, basically people come to you. What did they come to you? They didn't come to you for world peace. They came to you because I want more prosperity. I want more health. I want the love of my life. I want. You see? But we are in a new stage of life. Just like those guys were evolving something new in the 80s, in 1800s, we in the 2000s are developing a new consciousness. It is no longer about just me. Our just me individualism has led to, well, I got mine, you get yours. Okay, it's not about helping. And gradually we've been learning that service is important, that it's important to serve, not just ourselves, but our communities as well. Excuse me. So there's a woman, I think she's in England, and her name is Amoda Ma Jivan. And she wrote a book called Change Your Life, Change Your World, 10 Spiritual Lessons for a New Way to Being in the World, or being and living. Change your life, change your world. So we have change your thinking, change your life. Now is change your life, change your world. Well, what she's talking about is how you develop your own consciousness so that you can what? Express more love in the world, so that you can be more in the world, so that your life can be in service to the world. So if you have your journals, now is a good time to get your journal handy. I'm going to give you those 10 things that she said. She had 10 spiritual lessons for a new way of living. So I'm going to give them to you, but I'm going to give you my take on them. Okay. So the first one is responsibility. And she said the responsibility is the power to make a choice. So every morning you wake up and you have choice, right? You are responsible for the choices that you make, either consciously or unconsciously. If you wake up in the morning thinking, these are all the things I have to do today, then you're responsible for getting those things done. Do you see? So the first thing is to realize that you wake up in the morning, every morning, being responsible for making choices, and that you have the power of choice. And that power of choice comes from where? The spirit within you, the life within you. These are spiritual lessons, right? So this is the spirit in you, you're expressing in the world. How do you do that? Through these 10 lessons, she's saying. The second one is clarity. And clarity is the power to see. Now, we all have physical eyes, but what do we see with those eyes? When we look at a homeless person, what do we see? What we see is what we're thinking. So stop and think about what you think when you see a homeless person. I remember, in California, Ronald Reagan when he was governor, he closed a lot of the mental institutions and institutions that actually, some of them were very good. We had one near us called Agnews, and I mean, it was a beautiful campus. It was like a park, and families could go there. They had living facilities for families, so that if you had a child who had schizophrenia, or a child who had Down syndrome or something of the sort, and you had to have them institutionalized, you could come and they had housing for you. You could spend some time with them. You could walk the grounds, and it was beautiful. But he didn't think it was needed. And so now it is part of Silicon Valley, and Intel is on that space. Sun was, I forgot the name, it was another company that bought up a lot of that, and they divided it all up. And now it's all business. And what happened with those people? They went on the streets. they became the homeless population. Before Reagan, yeah, California had a homeless population, states always do, but nothing like that until after he came, after he did that. And so, the thing is that so people not knowing what to do with it would say things like, oh, they could work if they wanted to, or they're just lazy. They could get a job if they wanted to. And some of those people, they're like, they wanted to be there. And then, of course, in California, housing prices rise and rise and rise. When you turn places that are nice parks into housing, into businesses, guess what? You push people out and you raise prices. And California already had, land, low ability, space for land because there's so many mountains and stuff. So, so the thing is that we have created, like Thoreau says, the society created conditions for homelessness, and then we blame the people who are homeless. So the question is, when we look in our world, what is it that we see? Do we see that we are in the process of creating something that is causing problems for people, or are we creating something that builds and serves and glorifies? That's 2. 3 is relaxation. And relaxation is the power to let go. Isn't that interesting? First, we wake up in the morning responsible, and then we have to have the clarity to see clearly, and then let go, relax. That's great. Just breathe all day long, okay? Just, how many times we're just tensing. Just watch yourself right now. Did you just let go of your breath? Okay. Did you notice I just breathe? Okay. So let go and relax. And I think part of that too is, remember, these are my interpretations. Okay. It's just, don't be so uptight about it. You wake up in the morning and in your head is this list of things instead of your gratitude list or your joy for being alive. Relax. Don't get all excited and upset. Don't beat yourself up. Well, I didn't, no. Take responsibility. Go like, you know what? Yeah, well, that was today. Tomorrow I'll wake up in a different way. Okay. All right. Next 4 is presence. And that was one of the words that Lily used. I don't know if you caught it, but she said, the MJ Ryan was telling the story. She said, talking about presence, presents, presence. Okay, like presents wrapped underneath the tree, versus your presence, PRENSENCE. Your presence, who you are, who you bring into the room, is your presence. Okay, and some of us bring in a presence that's powerful and joyful and happy, and everybody gravitates. And then others, you watch people come in the room and you go like, I'm not going near that person. Okay, something's wrong. I don't know, but I'm staying away from them. We all have that presence about us. Knowing who you are, your presence, is a beginning of awakening. So you're saying, I am a spiritual being and I'm having a human spirit experience, does absolutely nothing. It's like the present under the tree if you're not realizing the presence of life within you. If you're waking up in the morning with fears and worries on your mind, you are not experiencing your presence. Okay? But you have to work on that consciously during the daytime. Number 5 is the totality, and it's the power to love. The power to love. I think that's very interesting that the power of love, the power to love, comes number 5 after responsibility, after clarity, after letting go, after knowing your presence. Why would love come next? Stop and think about that. Jesus sort of put love ahead of everything, didn't he? And he said, love love your neighbor as yourself. There is the key to why love is 5, because you have to be able to see clearly, to be responsible. You have to be able to relax into knowing who you are. You have to have a sense of presence in order to love. You have to know yourself in order to love someone else as you love yourself. Right? Okay? Love your neighbor as yourself. As yourself means you have to love you in order to love someone else. We don't get that. We go around wanting other people to love us without even asking ourselves, am I love worthy? Am I someone would love? Would I love myself if I met them, somewhere out there in the street? Am I someone who I would want to be friends with? Am I someone who I would like to take home and introduce to my family and other people that I love? Stop and think about that. Am I love worthy? So many of us want love to come to us without being a loving person. So love is a spiritual, it's a spiritual practice, but you have to begin with loving yourself. So you wake up in the morning, I love myself. I was taught, no, you don't say stuff like that. Were you taught that? It's like, no, you're not supposed to love. Now here people were teaching you, little children, Jesus said, right? Jesus said, love one another as I have loved you. And then they say to you, don't love yourself. Okay, who do you think you are? They don't say don't love yourself. They say, who do you think you are? Bragging on yourself. Thinking so, you think you're so much hot, Okay. We were taught, on the one hand, we're told love one another. And on the other hand, we are told, absolutely, don't let anybody know that you love yourself. How many marriages have broke up or relationships have broken up simply because one of the parties could not love themselves enough so that the love of the other person got through? Because you see, if you don't love yourself, you cannot receive love. I hate to tell you that. Maybe you haven't found it out yet at your age. It took me a long time too, believe me. It took me a long time. Okay, I won't tell you how long, but it took me a long time. Anyway, next is gratitude. 6 is gratitude. And gratitude is, get this, the power to receive. Notice that these are all powers. Okay, so the power to receive is gratitude. Nowadays, gratitude is really popular. People talk about, you should be grateful. And of course, Thanksgiving week is, you see gratitude everywhere, right? It's very popular. We're encouraged to be grateful throughout the day. We're encouraged to wake up in the morning, be grateful, go to bed at night, be grateful, on and on and on and on. But it's an empty gratitude if you do not love yourself. If you do not recognize where the source of what it is that you're grateful for. Have you ever listened to an athlete talk about his mother? The mother who scrubbed floors, who worked 2 jobs, who did all that she possibly could. She just totally gave up herself so that he could have the career he wanted in basketball or football or whatever athletic stuff he was doing. I have listened to that so many times. They just give their mother all praise and credit because they know that without her, they would not be where they are. She is the source for them. She is the source of their life to begin with, because, the mother, he came through the mother in terms of her body, but she didn't stop at that point. She continued to love him. She continued to know that he could succeed. She continued to do everything she possibly could to support him. And he was grateful. His gratitude came from what he had received, an acknowledgement of that reception. Now stop and think for yourself. Don't think about your mother, but think about Spirit, God, as being in place of that mother. It is the source. It has given you everything that you need to succeed. It is there with you right now. It has not abandoned you. It is in you. It is your life itself. You have already received. Jesus said, you have already received. And that's what he was talking about. You have received life, just like this athlete has noticed that he has received as a result of what his mother did. She sacrificed. God doesn't have to sacrifice because God has so much. It's so plentiful. And we go, I'll just take this little small piece. You see? You and I have already received. And so the gratitude is our power to receive, our power, our ability to look and know that we have been given. We've been given life. We've been given power. We've been given wisdom. Wisdom you kind of earn, but you can get an intelligence, okay? You have been given wholeness from which you can develop your health. You have been given every quality of the divine that you need to succeed, to live, to prosper, and to enjoy your life. And so your gratitude comes from your recognition of this. It's not that little wake up in the morning, I'm so grateful to be alive. It's the power that you have to receive the life that you have. The next, number 7, is forgiveness. It's the power to heal. Mistakes are a part of life. We can't avoid it. It's how we learn. We make a mistake and we have to forgive ourselves. Some of those mistakes, easy. We make a mistake in traffic. I forgive myself for that and move on. You don't even remember the end of the day. But there are those mistakes that last for days and weeks and months and years, because we keep going over and over and over and over and over in our mind, going like, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. There are mistakes we make that cannot be rectified. When we on purpose or accidentally kill somebody, you can't take that back. Dead is dead. They're gone. You can't. That's a mistake that you can't go say, I made that mistake. If you make a mistake in business, you may be able to change businesses or whatever and retrieve your money or whatever your losses are. You may have one business, lose it, and gain another one, learn from that. But you can't do that with some things. You can't retract. When you become a parent, that's it. You are a parent for the rest of your life. Okay? Whether the child dies or lives, grows up and is nice, grows up and is mean, grows up and kills somebody, doesn't matter. You are a parent for the rest of your life. That is one mistake you can't take back. Okay, even it's a mistake. All right? Even, some people, we've got this big thing about abortion. Even if you are aborted, you're still a parent. Okay, you, the person who had that child, whatever the condition, you're still a parent. It's not a mistake you can take back. You can give the child up. You can do whatever you want to with it, but you are still a parent. It's not something you can reverse. So there are things in our life that we can't. And guess what? That's what forgiveness is for. It is the purpose of forgiveness. It is the purpose to say, you know what? This mistake was really bad, but I forgive myself because I did then what I knew to do. We live at the level of the consciousness that we have at the time. If you are 50 years old today, You are not the same person that you were when you were 49 or 40 or 35 or 25. And you made mistakes at 15 that you would never, ever make today. Never. Why? Because your consciousness has grown. Connie's going, your consciousness has grown. Your experience has enlarged. You've met more people. You've done things. You've lived a life. And so your life at 50, at 60, at 70, at 90, at 100 is not what it was when you were 25, 35. And so we made mistakes at 25 and 35 that we at 50 are still going, oh God, I made that mistake. And we're still living with it because we can't forgive ourselves. We can't let it go. Let it go. It's time to go. It is time to go. Okay? But when does it come after? Forgiveness comes after gratitude. Gratitude and presence, knowing who you are. Look at the list, how it goes. You have to know who you are. You have to be grateful and know where your source is. And it's from that sourcing comes what? Your ability to forgive, to let go, to move on. Because what you recognize is in God, there are no mistakes. In life, there are learning experiences, but in God, there are no mistakes. We're always in the process of becoming, growing, expanding, unless we are standing in the darkness going, there is no light. Standing in the pain. Remember, I think that was part of what Lily's message was this morning in the reading. Connecting. Why do we stop connecting with people? Because we get hurt. And then we want to do what? Protect ourselves. Right? That's not loving. And we have to get past it. The next one, 8, is forgiveness is the power to heal. 8 is nakedness. It's the power to trust. Trusting, I hate to tell you this, begins with yourself. I know some people go like, well, I'm going to Thanksgiving dinner, but I just can't trust those other people in my family. Well, I hate to tell you this, but they're saying the same thing about you. I can't trust that person, whoever you are. If you're saying, I can't trust somebody in your family, they are saying the same thing about you. I can promise you that, okay? I have had people in my congregation where, different people in the family are there. And they have the same thing, issues back and forth, okay? So if you're dealing with untrustworthy issues, they don't begin with the people outside, they begin with you. When you know who you are, when you are in presence, when you know God is your source, okay, then you're not trusting the person. You're trusting yourself to trust your intuition, which will guide you to the people you need to be with, to the experiences you need to have. Do you see? So your trust is internal. You trust yourself. So when you were 15 and you got involved with that girl or that boy or whoever it was, and you just like, oh my God, I'm just so in love, and the thing fell apart. And now you're going like, I'm not doing that again. I'm protecting my heart. And here you are, 45 years old, still protecting your heart. Because what? You can't trust other people from that one, maybe 2 experiences. You hear, my heart got broken, so I'm not trusting anybody else. Well, here's the thing. If you would forgive yourself for getting in that situation and getting so involved, perhaps, I don't know what the situation was, but if you forgive yourself, okay, if you recognize who you are, you realize that you are spirit, and that God, every morning, God is waking up in the morning going like, yes, I get to be alive as whoever you are. Whoever you are. Then what happens? You begin to trust yourself. And then your intuition says, you know what? That person isn't really a good person for you to be around. And then when you hear that, you go like, you know what? I don't think I want to be friends with you. Okay, but you also get that other. This is a wonderful person and I'm attracted to him. And your intuition goes like, yeah, that's great. You see? But we have to trust ourselves. We have to develop that from within ourselves. And the next one, number 9, is the power to give. And that's service. Service is the power to give. How can you serve? Because why is it the power to give? Because you, in order to serve, you have to recognize your abundance. If you're volunteering somewhere, you're recognizing the abundance of your time. I have time to give. I know my niece, I was really surprised because she told me one time, I asked her to do something on a Saturday morning years ago. And she says, oh, Auntie Andy, I'm so sorry. I can't do that because I volunteer every Saturday morning, blah, 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 for 4 hours. I was like, whoa, I did not know she was doing that. Isn't that nice? But she felt she had an abundance. I don't know if she still does stuff like that. I'm sure she probably does some sort of it. But she's older now. She has a family. So, it's probably not exactly the same. But you see, the thing is that when we give out of a sense of abundance. We give, and that's part of what tithing is. It's teaching us to recognize that we have an abundance. And so because we have an abundance, then we can give, and we can give freely. Some of us have recognized that we have an abundance of time, but we don't have an abundance of money. Well, why is it that we have an abundance of time when God doesn't know the difference between time and money? Did you ever think about that? God doesn't know the difference. We know the difference, but God doesn't know the difference between time and money. Stop and think about that. And so your abundance shows up how? The way you see it. Oh, clarity. Okay. It shows up how you see it, not how it is, but how you see it, and therefore how you experience and how you share it. And that's what giving is. And then 10 is resoluteness. And the resoluteness is, get this, the power to take action. The power to take action. So our new thought teachers, just like our other religious and spiritual teachings from ancient times to now, they've encouraged us to love one another, to forgive, to be grateful, and all of that. They haven't always encouraged us to take action on all of that outside of our own lives. And the world is crying for us now to do exactly that. And that's what this book is. Change your life, change your world. So I want you to think of ways that you can serve. What kind of action can you, if you are doing all of this stuff, if you're recognizing all of this stuff, and you're gathering the good to you, and what do you do with it? There's the giving, there's the serving, it's the taking action. Our world is calling to us to add our voice to change in the world. In her afterward, she says, after all the principles she gives you, the steps in this book are only the beginning. The invitation is for you to exercise your spiritual muscle until it becomes a natural part of who you are. Life itself is always inviting you to awaken. Every challenge, every calamity, every loss, every painful situation is calling you to bring the radiance of your love, your compassion, your gratitude, and your forgiveness to whatever is happening. Wow, I saw that and it was like draw a drop. Let me read it to you again. Every challenge, every calamity, every loss, Every painful situation is calling you to bring the radiance, the brightness, the brilliance of your love, your compassion, your gratitude, and your forgiveness to whatever is happening. And then she goes on to say, it is important that we all come to recognize that every moment of darkness is pregnant with light. Think about that. Every moment of darkness is pregnant with light. So no matter whatever is going on in our world or your personal world, whatever pain is there, whatever difficulty is there, whatever sadness, whatever grief, there's light there somewhere. There's light. And it's our responsibility in the morning to wake up and find the light. Go towards the light. Who's that? What is that? When they show movies of people dying, right? And they say what? Go towards the light. Well, we get to go towards the light in our world because there is. There's joy in a world. There's wisdom in the world. There's compassion. There's understanding. There's love. There's all the goodness that we can possibly imagine, because why? It's coming through us every single morning if we choose to allow it to express as us. So my challenge to you is, this is Thanksgiving week. Don't just be grateful for the turkey and all the big, the stuff that happens around that holiday that we have set aside and made special. Recognize that it is for every day. It is for waking up. Not grateful for the list of things that you have to do, or the money you have, or the difficulties, or the forgiveness you've done, but just because you are alive. Because Spirit has seen fit to once again decide to live through you. And therefore you have a big responsibility. And that responsibility is to be all that you can possibly be in this day and every day. That's your responsibility. And it's yours alone. And guess what? Nobody else can fulfill it but you. So let's take these thoughts and turn within. We just ground them now in our own consciousness, personalizing them, making them our own. Now we have our list. We don't have to do it all at once, but we can start at the top. Or we can start where we think we have a weakness, and then go back and go up the line and start down. So if we start at number 9, go back to number 1 and go down the list. And each day, maybe take a moment to just bask in the awareness that I am more than this. I am more than the life I've been living. And I am being called to be so much more than I have ever been. That I am being called to be all that God is in me, through me, and as me. And that if I am being called to whatever it is I'm being called to, that I have all the power within me, all the joy within me, all the capacity within me, all the wisdom, the understanding that is needed and necessary. But I may need to forgive, I may need to relax and let go in order for myself to be able to move into the fullness and the capacity that is mine already in this life. There may be that which I am being called to do that I must grow into. And so I choose this day to know that if I am to grow, that whatever it is that I am to be in this world, that the Spirit of life has given me that task, has given me that calling, and therefore it has given me all that I need in order to achieve it to grow it, to expand it, and to be all that I can possibly be. That life is within me, without a doubt. What is urging me towards whatever it is that I desire to experience and express in this world. It is not coming from the outer world, from society. It is coming from within me. And so therefore I can trust it. I can believe it. I can accept it. And I can know that it is being done with ease, with poise, with power, and with love. For in, through, and as all of us, there is God's love wrapping us in its oneness, holding us, caring for us, supporting us, and always being there whenever we turn towards it and acknowledge it. That we have the eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart that's open, wide to love. And so with gratitude, I am knowing this word is the truth for each one of us. And that wherever we are experiencing darkness in our own lives right now, we can and do see the light, for there is a light there. No matter how dark the night, there is always the light. And so we just in our mind's eye right now, allow ourselves to be open to gravitate towards that light so that we may feel the forgiveness, the release of pain, of sadness, and experience the compassion and the love that is already there waiting to envelop us with simply our recognition of it. And so I release this word now, knowing it is done, and that each one of us is at peace because we know who we are. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Sandra. Sandra knows for the last 36 years that I take songs and change the words to them to suit my needs and desires. This song is from Etta James, and it is celebrating the manifesting of our new home. So I hope you enjoy it. At last, our home has come along. Our alone days are over. We celebrate, we have a home. Oh yeah, yeah. At last, our family feels anew. Our heart is wrapped up in clover as we manifest our truth. We have a dream that we can speak to, a dream that we can call our own. We found a truth to press our hearts to, a truth that's seen and yet unknown. We smile, and we know the law is cast. And here we are in heaven, for we are home at last.
And whenever she changes the words, they're always perfect and right. Yes. Thank you. Wow, that's awesome. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. We are home at last. And we're getting closer, closer, closer. We'll talk about that during the announcements. Okay, Marcia.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so we're coming to the time when we're going to talk about our conscious giving. And let me just make an aside note. It's been our conscious giving that has gotten us here at last. So continue to keep that in your hearts. There are 3 ways to give. These are the ways that we always like to share with you to keep in mind. If you feel comfortable sharing through PayPal, just know that any category, of course, you have your basic offering. And then if you'd like to designate some funds in addition to a specific category, like the building fund or AV equipment, or if we're taking a class or, whatnot, you can, go ahead and designate that by clicking that little drop down window. And there's also a spot where you can make a comment, if you need to say, I'd like to give for this particular item, it would be in the optional comment when you're going through that payment. You also can send a check. This is our address temporarily because we will soon be changing. Anybody that is mailing a check, just be mindful soon. You can still send it to this PO box, but soon we'll be switching it over to our actual location mailbox as soon as that's straightened out. So we're very excited. And the third way, of course, is Amazon Smile. It's in addition, if you're an Amazon shopper, that link and all this other information has been put in the chat window. You can connect with us through Amazon Smile as a charity. So let us all come together, as you possibly hear my dog in the background, sorry. Our giving affirmation. I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, my community CSL, and my world. And so it is.
Thank you, Marcia. So we have a little video for you. While Marcia's queuing it up, I will just simply give thanks for those of you who have been with us all these months and years, as it has turned out, because in March, it will be 2 years that we will be virtual. Stop and think about that, all through the pandemic and after. And, by March, hopefully we will be hybrid. Hybrid means some virtual and some in person. So those of you who are in Georgia and need and close by can come to the service, in person. And we have. I was over there yesterday, you guys, and to see it in person is just. There's just. There's just. Consciousness creates, and we have created a consciousness in there that just feels lovely. I don't know how to say it. It just feels cozy. It feels like you walk in and it just wraps you in its love and comfort and whatever. And I see Connie and Sandy and Marcia all shaking their heads because we were all there yesterday together. And it's a beautiful space. It's homey, it's comfortable, and yet at the same time it's very elegant. And I just can't wait till we can all be in there. And those of you who live at a distance, you are invited anytime. You come to Atlanta, please do come visit us. Yes, please do. All right, and Marcia?
Well, hello, family. Welcome to our new home, CSL West Georgia. We are walking in the door. Come on in. Things have been going on. Things have been changing. We now have the curtains up. You can take a look. We've painted the handrails. We've got the ladder set because soon the next video you will see a nice screen TV right there. As we go around, we're waiting for the sound equipment to be installed. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what's going on in Reverend Sandra's office. Man, things are just moving along. Oh boy, doesn't that look cozy? Yes. We're waiting for our printer to show up. Okay, as we move on, go ahead and say hi, Sandy. Wave to the people. And we're taking a look at the newly painted kitchen. As we come on in, there's still some work to be done. Still some work, but it's looking a whole lot better. Man, things are we're just so excited. Good things are happening. So get excited, family. Until next week.
Yes, it is just, it's wonderful. Yes, it is. And like I said earlier, thank you so much for hanging out with us all this time. And like Marsha said, for your conscious giving, because it is the giving of those of you who are here, as well as those who are not here necessarily today. And some people haven't been with us virtually at all, but they have continued to contribute to this, to the center, and make possible the things that, that we are in the process of doing. So this 2 years has given us a chance to grow deep roots and wide roots, and experience something that is wonderful. So thank you so much, and amazing. And so in spirit of, let me see, do we have something else? Oh, Prosperity Plus 3, don't forget Tuesday night is your last class, okay? And be sure and do your homework. Okay, and Marsha, the video. I chose this video because it fits so well with our action in the world.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow.
Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long. You're gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those are your needs that you won't let show. You just call on your brother when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. You just might have a problem that you don't understand. We all need somebody to lean on.
That's such a cute little boy at the end. I don't know how those guys do music like that, but I love it. Just seeing it all around the world, people, singing the same song and being a part of humankind. So our last video. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving, wherever you are, whatever you do. And don't spend too much money on Black Friday. But don't forget, small business day is that day too, I think. All right, we go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good comes from us and only good comes to us. And so it is. All right, thank you. Have a great day.
Happy Thanksgiving, Sandra.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Actually, why don't you all unmute yourselves and wish everybody